What is going on, Heroes of Middle Earth? Welcome back to the channel. You're probably playing this game wrong. And I've been playing this game wrong, and I know a lot of other people have been playing the game wrong. And what do I mean by that? Well, as a free-to-play player, this account is the free-to-play account. As a free-to-play player, your options are limited. As a player, your options are limited. You have to focus. Right now, Arena is basically our only option. There were the adventures, adventure ended, this one, Elrond starts. We're going to be going live with Elrond on the channel, by the way, on Monday, so be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz, and come hang out. That'd be really cool. I apologize for the coughing, still getting over a head cold. But if you're farming Arena, if you're like, okay, I need to focus. If you've been watching that free-to-play farming guide, I talk about you need to be farming Arena team, you need to be farming your Isengard to then help bolster your Arena team because that's how you get your crystals, and there's a back and forth. That sets you up really well for what I'm about to say, which is stop worrying about Arena. Remember, if you do your daily objectives every single day, you get 70 gems. If you do your refreshes, you get what, 3 of these a day? Set an alarm. Or just pay attention to your phone. And then you'll get your, essentially, not quite a refresh, but you'll get a refresh and a half every day if you do those. If you're really focused on Arena, that's great. I really, hold on, I'm gonna have to cut. Sorry about that. Had to blow my nose. Still sick. If you're really focused on Arena, that's fine. Focus on Arena, but remember, this is a Capital Games game. They will more than likely come out with something like Grand Arena, like we had in, or have rather, in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I've made a video about that. If you want, go ahead and check that out. If I can find it, I'll pin it. If you want more in-depth look at it, let me know down in the comments. But they moved all the rewards out of Arena into Grand Arena, which is, in my opinion, a better way of doing it. But you can't really do it when the game is really young because there's not enough teams. You need multiple teams, at least 4, to get into a Grand Arena. Well, actually more than that. You need at least 8 to participate fully in a Grand Arena. So we don't have 8 full teams yet. So I suspect in the next year or so we're going to get that, at which point Arena's not going to matter. Now, you know, you may be sitting there, well, that's a year away. Oh, I understand. But what do we have coming up legitimately in about a week? We've got the start of Q3. What's in Q3? The Moria raid. What is the Moria raid? Well, the Moria raid we don't really know, but we assume it's going to be some form of guild and team activity in the mines of Moria. It will require players to fight NPCs, of which we do not know what they're going to be. They're going to release in chapters. We don't know what chapter 1 is going to be. Could be a horde mode, in which case then AoE is going to be king. It could be single target, like big boss with, you know, a lot of AoE damage coming our way. So heals and stuff are going to be really important. We don't really know. And so all we can do right now is speculate. There are data mines out there and such, but they've been wrong already. Take them with a grain of salt. I would stop worrying about Arena. This is where we're all playing the game wrong. We're focusing on Arena because it's the only thing we can see. It's like, okay, we see it, we can do it. So we're just spearing into Arena. I would urge, and I kind of outlined this a little bit in the background. I don't really explicitly say it in the free-to-play farming guide, but I would urge you to widen your roster. And what I mean by that is have multiple teams. So farm your Rohan, farm your Isengard, farm, you know, any character that you really like. I would stay focused with it, but get them to 3 stars. There's a few exceptions to this rule. Why do I say that? Well, if we look at Galaxy Heroes and we look at how they do their raids, there's two different payout tables. There is a personal payout table, and then there is a guild payout table. The better you do in your personal, the higher your rewards are going to be on that personal, and you can pick a threshold. So if you're like me on this free-to-play account, I'll pick a lower threshold than I would on my Dolphin account, for example, my main account. So my main account, I'm going to be doing a lot more damage. I'm going to have a lot more teams. I'm going to be able to, really contribute a bunch. But as a free-to-play player, especially one who's essentially starting this late, the best thing that I can do is get into a quality guild, preferably one that's got Discord. That's number one, and that requires it because they tend to be more active. But two, how can I, once I'm in that guild, how can I help them in these guild activities? The only way you can really do that is to either A, have a single squad that can mop the entire raid. That does exist, by the way, in Galaxy Heroes if you're unfamiliar with that game, if you're a Marvel Strike Force, and I'm unfamiliar with that game. So let me know down in the comments if you can wipe a raid in Marvel Strike Force with one team. I imagine you probably could. But that doesn't exist yet, or at least we don't think it's going to. So you're going to need a couple of different teams. And because generally once you use a character, you can no longer use it again. Makes sense, right? Otherwise you could just sit there and just farm it. So what I am suggesting, and this goes along with my free-to-play farming guide, is basically stick with it. Just stick with it. When you come out of that, you're going to end up with core Rohan, you're going to end up with your core Isengard 4 with Ironhide. There's a couple of exceptions to it. Hopefully you were able to get Arwen at 3 stars and Eladin at 3 stars during this last event. If you were, they are going to be what we use to round out our Rohan team. Normally I would go Strider and Halbarad. I've got plans for Strider and Halbarad later though. So my stance on this, if you have Eladin and Arwen, I would put them with Eothane, Eomer, and Lady Eowyn, with Lady Eowyn lead. And then that will be your primary team. Secondary team is going to be another team that's already your secondary team. If you're following along with the free-to-play farming guide, it's going to be your core Rohan. So we've got Ugluk Mahur, Dunhar, and Azhak, which I haven't been able to start farming him yet. This is why we're making sure to press this now. And then we're going to plug and play Ironhide in there. And then that's going to be a really good damage output. It's going to be good debuff. It's going to be a good, just a good, solid team. I would say probably, B tier team. The third team, and I said this in a video a long time ago about how they could be class restrictive. I said Road to Rivendell. Road to Rivendell is relatively easy to get, especially up to like 2 or 3 stars, which I would urge you to try to get them to 3 stars. Gear 5. It'll give you a use for Strider. It'll give you a use for more characters. You'll be able to grow your roster. You're going to be able to supply more power in game modes for your guild where power actually matters. You're going to be able to fill out more teams. You're going to be able to have more attempts, and then you're going to be able to just go after it. And you're going to have a much better time the more teams you have. You could go for goblins if you want. I don't think that would be a smart choice, but you could do it. If you really want to think far in advance, you could go for Haradrim. I do have them favored on this account. Wu Beite, obviously I'm farming passively through shipments. Same thing with Eomer. So there's a little wiggle room. I wouldn't necessarily pay to take them up to 4 stars, but you could. And yeah, that's basically it. Stop focusing so much on arena. If you're down in the bronze and silver, that's fine. You're essentially getting 100 plus gems per day. Realistically, as long as your total is about 100 to 150, you're okay. That's enough to do 3 normal energy refreshes. That's enough to do 1 of those in 1 guild, which is how I prefer to do it. Depending on my farming strategy and who I need. But generally, I just pick a character and I just go for it. The more laser focused you can be, the better better time you're gonna have. And remember, every 4 hours you get energy. I think you get it 2 or 3 times a day. So that's a full energy refresh anyway, as long as you're taking advantage of that. So you're getting the energy. And over time, arena is going to fizzle out. We're going to move in hopefully to a grand arena once we have more teams, and we're going to have our payouts come from there instead. So right now, I'm switching gears with my free-to-play account, and I may start doing this on my Dolphin account too, just so you are aware. It's time to start really figuring out, end game strategy. And end game in these games are all related to growth of your guild, because through your guild growth you're going to be getting shards. I'm thinking, and I've been saying this since the Moria raid was announced, or data mined, or whatever it was, Gandalf the Grey shards. I think we're getting Gandalf the Grey shards. It's the only thing that makes sense. And I think Road to Rivendell are going to be required later on to get Gandalf the White. I think the hobbits are going to be needed for that. I think a couple other core characters are going to be needed. But I think the quicker you can get Gandalf the Grey, you want to talk about a powerful character, he's going to be great. Again, it's all speculation. But at any rate, switch gears from Arena. Stop doing that. Broaden your roster. Get them to, level 40 to 45. Get them to gear 5 or 6. And then have 2 or 3, cohesive teams or semi-cohesive teams that once the raid launches, or once we get more info, who knows, we may get more info in a couple of weeks, and it'll blow all this out of the water. And it's like, okay, well, we need the Dunlanding team, and nobody's farmed them, except for the hyper whales. So that's what I'm doing. That's my new strategy. I'm going to stick to it. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. I am still going to be farming characters, obviously, for Arena, because they're part of the characters that I still need to farm. And we're going to see where we can land. And like I said at the start of the video, like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to be doing the Elrond unlock on Monday, and then playtest with a 5-star, maybe 6-star, I don't know, and see how we can do. But at any rate, I will see you guys in the next one. Have fun farming. Bye.